So we got the regular HDD, which is a hard disk drive, or we got the SSD, which is a super soft drive. Let's get it. I can't even say that with a straight face. There's so much talking in this episode, I'm so sorry. But maybe, subscribe anyways, tune in, and there's gonna be less talking next week. Let's go with that. Less talking. So what's the difference between a solid state drive and a hard drive, right? Well, the biggest thing is a hard drive is a mechanical spinning apparatus. It has RPMs, meaning 7,200, 5,400. It's how many rotations per minute that it can, spin. The faster, the more write and read speed on it. While for the purposes of this video, an SSD is more or less just electronical and how it reads data. But the thing is, they both are storage units. So they both can copy and paste, Word documents, everything else onto them, videos, everything else. Every single part of your computer that can save stuff can be both applied to a HDD and a SSD, okay? So that is the baseline. They're both storage units. They're just a little bit different. So let's talk about those differences. Both the hard drive and the solid state drive have been around since the 1950s, but the biggest thing is capacity, right? So for the past, 50, 60, 70 years, hard drives were the main go-to because they could hold a lot more with the technology for cheaper, right? And so every computer you probably has a HDD in there. But right now, especially starting in the early 2010s, SSDs have been on the rise because the prices keep dropping. So capacity, which one can hold more? It's more or less a tie. So you can get an SSD that can have 10 terabytes on there, or a hard drive that has 10 terabytes on there. I don't recommend either. I recommend a multiple terabyte array. But the capacity is almost equal at this moment. So we're just going to put a equal bar between the two. A solid state drive is a whole lot faster, even 15 times faster than a 5,400 RPM hard drive. Holy moly, I can't talk today. I can't talk today. I can't even say talk. Well, anyways, faster speeds, faster read and write. So if you're transferring files to a save to your storage unit, which is your SSD, it's going to be able to file transfer faster than with a hard drive. Okay, so speed definitely goes to SSD, especially if you go to the M.2 NVMe portion. It can go way faster, but that's for another video. So what about the ruggedness, the build quality? So hard drives have moving parts, all mechanical parts moving around, while SSDs do not. So most laptops now, most tablets have SSDs inside because you can throw them around, they don't break, you don't have to worry about it. But some hard drives can be wiped completely, all your data can be completely removed if it moves, and the I can't even think of the word, the little threader that puts on data can scrape off all the data, and that's a complete mess. So ruggedness, the build quality goes to the SSD just because it's not as fragile. Now, another reason SSDs are inside laptops is because they're in smaller form factors. So you can get a very, very small one like I did, and you'll see in a moment that it's 7 millimeters thin. It's pretty like the size of a credit card. It's super, super small. Hard drives, on the other case, can be small, so there's 2.5 size ones of those as well. But hypothetically, there's even smaller SSDs in the M.2 form, which are like bubble gum. Like, I don't even have gum on me right now, but it's so small. It's the same size as like a 5 gum. It's that thin. It's crazy. That's the biggest thing about like size, is solid state drives can be so small comparative to the mechanical because there's no moving parts again. You got to have enough room for the disk itself and the disk reader, right? So that's why for size, again, SSD wins. All right, so price. So what's the difference in between price? So as I was saying in the beginning, it took a while for SSDs to get actually cheaper for the actual consumer grade market to actually take a hold of it. So I bought a 256 gig SSD for about $63. Now for $53, I bought a 3 terabyte hard drive. So you see the big difference there for price right now. SSDs are coming down to earth, but they're still not great. So a 4 terabyte SSD might set you back $1,500. You compare it to a 4 terabyte hard drive is going to only be about $100, $200. So price, hard drives got it all the way, but the price is coming down for solid state drives. So, Mike, which one do you recommend? I recommend right now, if you're building a budget PC and you don't have $1 million, go with both a hard drive and an SSD. SSD for faster boot times, anything that you need quick latency with, and then a hard drive for mass storage. So right now I'm building a PC. I bought both. One is for video games and video storage, right? That's a 3 terabyte hard drive, but the actual operating system of the computer is going to be on the little solid state drive as some other little options so it can boot faster. So that's what I recommend right now. If you have the money, go ahead, buy a solid state drive, especially in the M.2 form. It's faster, especially make sure you get the NVMe standard, but it's a lot faster, it's smaller, and you can get a smaller case with the same amount of bigness, you know what I mean? The same amount of horsepower. So value though, hard drives all the way right now. They're so, again, $53 for 3 terabytes. That's unheard of. I recommend looking into getting both, but for value, hard drive, it's been the go-to right now. SSDs, especially, they're coming down. 2018, I recommend getting both, especially a smaller SSD than a bigger mass storage unit for the hard drive. That's what I recommend. That's pretty much it. Now, let's get started into actually putting my storage units inside the computer case, all right? So if you haven't seen my other video, right, we just installed these fans. So we move this back to give a little bit more airflow into it, and it can kind of sweep through, if you can see right there, sweep through that. Power supply doesn't really need it, but it will bring current all the way up and out the exhaust. So watch that video if you want to, but we're going to store the hard drive right in here. And I'm thinking about putting the SSD right on top just to make it easy cable management. I could put it behind this plate right here. So we could potentially just slide it right in there behind, and it would be pretty hidden. I guess we would actually have to hold it like this. But yeah, we could definitely just put it right in there. No one would see it. Or I was thinking about putting it right there, but actually behind that plate would probably be great. So I believe I found the screws for this. We're going to take the plate and screw it right onto the plate, and then the plate onto the actual thing. So great work. So over the past couple months, I've been researching computers and making my own computer, right? So this is how big it is to a AA battery. I really didn't think how small SSDs were. When you actually hold it in your hands, it's so much smaller than what you expect. It's crazy. All right, so it's on here. It's screwed in. It's a little thinner than most SSDs, so that screw is a little off. But that's all good because I knew that while buying it. And so we're going to place that right up there. We have these out here. So all you're going to see when I actually there we go, put that in. We'll be right back. All right, so that's all tucked away, looking beautiful. Like, sure, you're going to see that right now, but once the cables are plugged in, it's just going to look black and beautiful. Black and beautiful, that's how I like it. I don't know what to do right here. I know this is off topic, but I feel like I want to cover this color up with something, but I'm not sure what to do. All right, to not bore you guys, we're going to put this into there and get back with you, all right? This thing's a little bit hefty compared to the slot it's in. Couldn't really use any of the screws on the back, like if you can see right there. Can't really fit that one in there. So screwed in a screw right there. And a screw right there. It should be fine. It's just sitting here. And then, of course, let's pop that in. So it's going to be stationary right there. On the back side is where all the wiring goes. But yeah, we're all set up, minus the cords. And we'll get the cords in there once we get the motherboard. We actually do have the motherboard here, but we're not going to put it in until we get the RAM and the CPU. So stay tuned for the next, couple weeks.